In 1930, the first World Cup kicked off in Uruguay. 13 teams. Hundreds of players. 0 black athletes. Not because they weren't good enough. Because they weren't allowed. FIFA never wrote "no black players" in their official rules. They didn't need to. European leagues simply didn't sign black players. South American teams quietly left theirs at home. And when African nations asked to participate, FIFA made the qualification process so expensive and complicated that it was impossible. The message was clear: this tournament is for white men only. In 1958, Pelé burst onto the scene at 17 years old. The world fell in love. The color barrier was broken. Except it wasn't. Because Pelé wasn't the first black player at a World Cup. He was just the first one they couldn't ignore. A decade earlier, in 1950, Indian players had been invited to the tournament, then humiliated. They were forced to play in borrowed boots 2 sizes too small. They lost badly. FIFA used it as proof: see? They don't belong here. The 1962 World Cup in Chile was the first tournament where black players appeared in meaningful numbers. Think about that: 32 years of World Cup football. 3 decades of pretending the best players in the world simply didn't exist. French legend Just Fontaine scored 13 goals in 1958. Imagine how many more he would have faced if defenders like Liberia's George Weah or Cameroon's Rigobert Song had been allowed to play decades earlier. We will never know. FIFA's excuse? Football wasn't developed in those regions yet. Meanwhile, black players were dominating local leagues across Africa, the Caribbean, and South America. Meanwhile, European clubs were already poaching South American talent by the boatload. That the development argument was a lie. The real reason was simpler, uglier, and never spoken out loud. Even after 1962, the racism didn't stop. It just changed shape. Black players who scored were natural athletes. White players who scored were tactical geniuses. Black teams that played physically were undisciplined. White teams that played the same way were aggressive and passionate. The language evolved. The exclusion didn't. Today, FIFA celebrates diversity. They run anti-racism campaigns. They point to the 2026 World Cup, hosted across 3 nations with some of the most diverse squads in history, as proof of progress. But here's what they won't put in the commercials: the same European leagues that once banned black players now extract teenage talent from African academies for pennies. The same federations that kept Africa out for decades now control the resources that could develop the continent's game. They didn't fix the system. They just found a more profitable way to exploit it. Pelé won 3 World Cups. Eusebio dragged Portugal to the semi-finals. Roger Milla danced at 42 years old. We got to see them because someone, somewhere, finally decided that black excellence was too undeniable to hide. But for 32 years, FIFA looked at the greatest players on earth and said, "You don't exist." And we call that the beautiful game. If this shocked you, hit subscribe. I make videos about the disgusting things history tries to forget and the ones still happening today. Drop a comment: what's the worst sports scandal nobody talks about?